The last thing you want to hear when you need your auto insurance most is a robot with countless irrelevant menu options. Which is why with USAA Auto Insurance, you'll get great service that is easy and reliable, all at the touch of a button. Get a quote today. Restrictions apply.
Nigel here. Did you know the wise time to relieve allergies is at night? With Xyzal. And who better to explain than a wise owl like me? Your allergies won't take a hint when you're tired and ready for bed. Don't suffer the symptoms that bother your sleep. Take Xyzal 24-hour instead. It starts working fast and works while you sleep, so you finally get much-needed rest. Then all the next day, it's still going strong, so you can feel your best. Be wise, all. Take Xyzal at night. Use as directed. Starts working in 45 minutes.
Waiting for the best deals? Spring Black Friday savings are here. Shop early access now at Blinds.com and save big on new custom window treatments. Blinds.com makes upgrading your window treatments easy with free virtual consultations, free samples sent to your door, and professional measure and installation services. Plus, you always get Blinds.com's 100% satisfaction guarantee. Shop Blinds.com's Spring Black Friday early access now. Save up to 40% with minimum purchase, plus a free measure. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Hey everyone, welcome to this edition of Keep Watch Pass on the It's Not That Bad podcast channel and a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. It's Monday, and that is the day the Keep Watch Pass releases. So you saw this coming. But this week we're talking about films where you didn't quite see it coming. We're talking about movies that have unexpected plot twists. Bum, bum, bum. And here to join me, as expected, my lovely wife, Carrie. Carrie, how are you doing?
Well, actually, I'm not doing so great.
Really?
Kind of feeling kind of crappy today. I don't know.
I did not see that coming.
No, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking.
I'm super. Thanks for asking.
I'm not really doing so great.
Yeah, can you imagine how bad that show must be? Like, hey, welcome to the show. How you doing? I feel like
Oh, there's an edit.
Yeah. See, this is the wonderful thing. See, I have to give my wife all the flowers in the world here because she has been editing a lot of the shows lately, taking a load off of me and my shoulders, and really it's become a team effort. So first of all, big round of applause for my lovely wife, Carrie. Thank you so much for doing so much work.
Don't you remember the shit you got into when you bought me a flower?
There's an edit, by the way.
I know. I brought it on myself.
See, yeah, by the way, I'm about to give relationship advice before we get into these movies here. Dudes, if you're not known to bring flowers, don't randomly bring flowers, because while you may think that it's a good thing and romantic, really it triggers, what did you do?
A whole world of trouble.
What did you do?
What did you buy?
How many guitars are coming home now? Yeah. Now, if you bring home a chocolate flower, that's fine. Totally cool.
Well, that's fair game.
Also very acceptable, yes.
And delicious.
So let's get back to the actual topic at hand here. We're talking about movies with unexpected plot twists. Now, I'm going to say this right off the bat, so we don't have to say it multiple times throughout the show. Because we are talking about movies with unexpected plot twists, it should go without question that spoilers will be afoot throughout this entire episode. So if you don't want these movies spoiled for you, well, then we'll see you next week. But that being said, we would also love to know what movies you would have put on your list. So make sure to drop us a line over at our website, notthatbadcast.com, or hit us up on our social media at notthatbadcast. Drop us a line. Let us know what movies would have made your list. And if you drop out now, we completely understand. But if you're still here for the ride, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to pick 3 films each, a keep, a watch, and a pass. The keep is as good as the plot twist itself. The watch, yeah, it's still pretty good. And the pass, well, then maybe, just maybe, the plot twist wasn't necessarily expected. Now, Carrie, did you have any criteria for yourself in picking these films?
Oh my God. No, that would assume that I put some thought into it. I didn't study for the exam today.
You just, pointed at the screen and said, I like that movie.
I randomly picked movies that I remember having like an oh moment.
Yeah.
Like, well, I didn't see that coming. And literally, if that was the thought in my mind, then that's really why I picked the movie.
All right. Well, then let's get started with you. What is your keep didn't see it coming movie?
Well, you know me. You know me well.
I should hope so.
And thus, this is going to not be surprising. You are probably going to see this coming because we've spoken about this movie before. But it is, of course, a movie starring Samuel L. Jackson. And it's a movie we've talked about before. And it's a movie with a twisty-turny ending. And it is The Cleaner.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, great film. Great film. This is one of those situations where I really, really, really harp on the fact that box office does not denote the quality of a film. The Cleaner, as I recall, didn't really have much of a box office, kind of like a straight to DVD kind of release. And I've said it before on other shows, even straight to streaming films, they're just as damn good.
Sometimes better.
I know.
You know what always gets me, though, is when I find out about these hidden gems somehow, whether we're doing like a movie search and it's like, well, when the hell did that even come out? Like, these movies are done dirty from the get-go because they're not promoted properly.
Yeah, no. And there are times when you can sit there and say, okay, we're straight to streaming and I can see why. Or we're straight to DVD. I can see why. You know what's funny? I actually can see why it went pretty much straight to DVD. I can see why it wasn't a big theatrical release because it's more of a nuanced kind of this isn't a big screen experience. It's not, but it is very much an experience where you want to watch it with the lights down and a good bowl of popcorn because popcorn makes everything better and just sink in because you're on a ride on this one and it's got some really, really like how many TV shows now too are about crime scene cleaners? Like clearly this is a topic that is going to introduce the idea of some kind of collusion or some kind of plot. Like it was before its time for sure. I also think it's one of the more underrated Samuel L. Jackson performances.
Oh, definitely. I mean, a fantastic movie. Like Eva Mendes was so great too.
Yes, this is, and we talked about her in a couple of other films too, especially The Spirit. This is how you use Eva Mendes in a movie. She was pitch perfect in this film. I cannot gush more about the performance and the role that she got in this movie. Because, yeah, there are some movies, Ghost Rider, that didn't really use her to her full potential. The Cleaner did. That's a great pick. Great pick. All right. My pick might be a little bit of a basic bitch kind of move for my keep film, but I know you're going to agree, and I know we're going to flash back to our college days. I'm going with The Usual Suspects.
Yes.
Because, yeah, one of the ultimate twist endings to this film. Also, for the record, when we talk about these films, we talk about the performances in the film, the story, and all that kind of stuff. We don't talk about the people outside the film. So, yeah, we all know about Kevin Spacey. I get it. But you cannot deny how good he was in this film and the role of Verbal Kent and how basically the entire film had you hanging on every single word of Verbal Kent's story. And then the twist happens. And it's like, and it all happens in the gait of his walk. It's this fascinating transition from the Verbal Kent kind of, for lack of a better term, crippled walk to all of a sudden like the confident stride Kaiser Sose. Like, oh, that's so good. The best character plot twist reveals in one shot. In one shot. Told you everything you needed to know. And it strung you along. This film took the entire movie making you convinced the Verbal Kent was the sole survivor of a plan gone wrong. And now he's trying to save his own ass while setting up someone else who remains unfound. Spent the whole movie convincing you that Verbal Kent was just a witness to a disaster, a witness to a malevolent force that made things go south. And in one shot, he goes from witness to perpetrator. Brilliant. Just brilliant.
So you liked the movie?
I
can't tell.
Really like the movie. Like really, really like the movie. Yeah, no, it's if you have not seen The Usual Suspects, I'm sorry I ruined it for you, but if you haven't seen The Usual Suspects by now, where the hell were you? This is and should be required watching for anyone with a DVD player. This movie should come with DVD players. It's that good. So yeah, it's my keep. Can you imagine if this was just my watch? Like I go on this great tangent, like, yeah, this is awesome. It's okay. No, it's my keep. By all means.
What is your watch then?
Oh, my watch might throw you for a loop. It's a little out of my wheelhouse because I'm not the biggest horror film guy. But when you talk about movies that have such a jaw-drop end moment, Saw set the bar. Absolutely set the bar. And I was worried because as much as I enjoy Cary Elwes as an actor, his performance in this film is like, oh, you think it's a bad slasher fic. And like, he's like way overacting as he's cutting off a body part to get out of the room. And I'm like, that's how you're going to end with the worst Cary Elwes that ever Cary Elwes. And it's a shame because I really like him as an actor. I really like every other performance that he's done, except for in Saw. But then the one guy's just sitting there and he's just waiting. He's going to wait for help to come. And the dead body that's in the room just starts to rise like Undertaker styles. And you're like, the hell? And then you realize that he's been there the whole time and he's the mastermind behind it. And he's been in there and he knows everything. Like, such a plot twist. Such a fantastic, and the music so sells that scene. Between Saw and Hostel, there you have kind of your, for lack of a better analogy, torture porn iconic franchises. Saw really kind of went down the cheesy road and just uber repetitive. Like, how many freaking Saw films are there? Like 10 of them? Well,
that was my thinking. I was like, you're talking about the original, the
OG Saw.
The OG Saw.
Right? But it's like, you take a look at the first Friday the 13th film, right? That's a plot twist at the end when you realize, and I don't know if this is your pick or not, but I'm going to spoil it anyway, so sorry. The first Friday the 13th film is when you realize that Jason's mother is the actual killer. That's a fantastic plot twist in and of itself. I mean, we don't get Jason Voorhees in the Goalie Mask like the third film. The reason why we have so many Saw films is because that first Saw was so good.
Well, that's the problem when they're riding on the, success of the first one, and then they set the bar so high that it's unattainable to keep producing the same quality. And so it keeps going and going and going.
Yeah. I mean, I'll even give Hostel 2 a little bit of kudos because there was a twist at the end of that one. And it made Hostel 2 different from the first. And aside from being like a gender swap version of it, there was a good little twist, reversal of fortune kind of ending in Hostel 2, which of course starred Lauren Germain from Lucifer, who played Chloe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm got to go with Saw. And at least I can say this. The excessive sequels from Saw allowed us to have, because it was filmed on some of those sets, Repo the Genetic Opera. So with multiple saws comes repo. So maybe the means justify the ends.
So we'll allow it.
We'll allow it. We'll allow it. If you want to know how we feel about Repo the Genetic Opera, it's episode 50 if it's not that bad. Carrie, over to you. What's your watch pick?
I don't like to talk about Fight Club.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Bruno.
Him either.
No.
But no, we don't talk about Fight Club.
We don't talk about Fight
That's
Club.
the rule number 1. We don't talk about Fight Club. You know what? This movie, right? Like, did not see it coming. We had no indication that Tyler Durden was like, I don't want to spoil it. I mean, spoilers, right?
Yeah.
That it was all in his mind and all a creation of his. It was kind of like, was it like a neurosis, or he was kind of like, he had such anger issues that
it was almost like a multiple personality disorder.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's one of those things too, where this is the film that started people scrolling through things frame by frame by frame. Because if you do go back and you go through it frame by frame, you are going to see these little flashes throughout the movie that tells you everything you need to know.
But things that you miss along the way.
Yeah. But that's the thing. Those flashes last, keep in mind, film back then is done at 24 frames per second. So a flash of a character in a shot is a 24th of a second. It takes a while to be able to see something that lasts that long. You have to be basically an editor in order to be able to pick it up on first watch. If you go through and you scroll through it slowly, then you'll see these things. But a 24th of a second that ain't long. But you realize the minute you say Fight Club, instantly I have the Pixies, Where Is My Mind, stuck in my head.
But you know, how cool is that it makes you watch things differently, or it makes you kind of question everything. Like how many cinematic tricks are in movies that we're not consciously aware of.
Well, even going back to horror films as a whole, right? If the sound designer is on point, they'll put a low frequency rumble at times when they want you to feel uneasy, because when you get those low field rumbles at around like 40 to 44 hertz, you're feeling it, but you're not necessarily audibly realizing it, but you feel uneasy for a time. But by the way, now listeners are like, oh, so that's why I feel like I gotta crap my pants whenever I get scared.
So then what is it then that caused people to have like nausea and physical reactions from like the Terrifier movies?
I don't know if that's...
What was the trickery behind that?
I mean, I've never seen Terrifier, first of all.
Nor have I. I'm scared shitless. I don't want to wind up in an ambulance
Okay,
somewhere.
but how much of that, I mean, really, and I'm not saying like this is the actual case, but how much of that is one person went in, had too much popcorn, got sick in the aisle, and then someone's like, oh man, someone just like threw up watching Terrifier, and then all of a sudden it becomes this thing where it's like, yeah.
I don't know, when you're seeing as many random
well, then maybe
events.
They should change the butter in the popcorn maker. It might have turned.
It's truly enough to make me want to avoid at all costs
the Terrifier films.
Yeah.
I would be and the thing is, Terrifier doesn't actually qualify for this show. But I mean, there are more psychological horror films that are so disturbing and so queasy-inducing and so graphic that I can understand why someone would be triggered to vomit or nausea or just wanting to get the hell out of there.
Well, not only that, but when you get so engrossed, like if it's done right, if it's done well enough, you just get so invested in what you're watching that you tend to, I don't know, like heart rate is increased, and, you know, the slightest like movement in the house will scare the hell out of you. Like, yeah,
The other thing too, and I wonder about this because they never actually disclose any of this, but people who are scared, sick, or terrified of a film like Terrifier, I wonder if they suffer from coulrophobia, which is quote unquote an irrational and intense fear of clowns, because that is a very real phobia. Coulrophobia.
Oh,
And we learned something today.
fascinating.
But I mean, that's what horror films do. They prey on these phobias and exploit them, and put them on celluloid because they know that it's almost like I'm completely terrified of this, but I like to be terrified, so I'm going to go see it anyways, and then I'm going to run out of the theater because I'm terrified. Also, Terrifier. But no,
It all makes sense now.
But getting back to Fight Club was very much one of those movies that played on not just a hatred of corporate culture and not just a want to just stand outside of a bank or a corporate building with both middle fingers raised completely high to the air, but it played on cinematic tricks and smart editing, great soundtrack, and fantastic performances. All right. Now that we've talked about the good films, we get to talk about the past films. So what's your past pick of movies with a twist so good or so bad you just didn't see it coming?
Well, this was a tough one. This was the most difficult choice for me because if a movie is just that good and has a twist or some kind of surprising ending, then I consider that to be a pretty damn good movie. But I'm going to go with, I know, a still packaged DVD that we had picked up like one random Blockbuster shop many, many, many years ago, probably on the discounted rack. I'm gonna go with Memento.
Okay.
And even though I know we've seen it, but our DVD copy is still in its wrapped cellophane case.
I get that. And again, this is one of those films that, again, plays on a very specific filming style, and that the story is told in reverse.
In reverse, exactly. And you know what? We were talking about like medical conditions, and there's actually a name for the amnesia that the main character suffered because of his trauma. It's anterograde amnesia. And so because, I mean, he was triggered, and he was mourning the loss of his wife, the murder of his wife, and thus he's trying to find the killer. And he's completely unaware. He completely has these moments of like blacking out, basically. And
Why do I feel like we need to like just go through an entire book of phobias and find movies based on those phobias? Like, hi, we're the movie doctors.
I mean, that would make another podcast, sure, but
it's ours, so no one else can take it. Stand to no races. Luckily, no one listens to us, so no one's going to steal our ideas. So, yay!
But you know what, though? It's a cool concept where it's actually taking a, an actual medical condition and utilizing it in the telling of this story and bringing to light, that this can happen. This is an actual documented condition of such a severe trauma.
Okay.
Right? That affects somebody so much that they literally lose parts of their memory or lose conscious awareness of their actions.
Well, now that we're done playing into the cinephobia aspect of everybody, the fear of actual movies, I had a couple films I was contemplating for my past, but I didn't want to repeat myself, because when you've done enough of these shows, you find yourself talking about the same films over and over and over again. People are like, oh, you crap on that film again. So I didn't go with Event Horizon because I know I've gone off on that film. So I really had two that I was going to flip a coin on. And they're both in the superhero milieu because I'm a geek. But I think the one I'm going to go with is Hancock.
Yes.
Because I wanted this film to be so good because I loved the idea behind it, right? A superhero who just does not give a anymore at all. He's just so done with it. And yet here comes Jason Bateman trying to resurrect Hancock's career, trying to resurrect his public image and trying to get him back to the hero that he once was and trying to get the public to believe in him like they once did. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, Jason Bateman's wife is also a superhero and fated to be with Hancock. And the minute the two of them get together, they end up, it's kind of like a Hawkman Hawkgirl thing where they are destined to be together. If anyone ever watched Legends of Tomorrow when it was on TV, but it was a plot twist that didn't need to happen. The story itself could have held water. Absolutely. A superhero who didn't care about people at all and had just given up, only to have one person believe in them and then start to believe in themselves. That's a fantastic story. You didn't need to have this plot twist in there. It was an unnecessary plot twist. And the funny thing is, the other movie on the other side of that coin was My Super Ex-Girlfriend, because Anna Faris is also a superhero? Nah. Luke Wilson isn't that special to get two female superheroes to go for him. Nah. But Hancock had so much potential. And it was so good for the first 3/4 of the film. And then it turned. And we turned on it. So yeah, as much as I wanted to like this, it was so close. It was so close. And then it was like it Uno reverse card on itself. And it went the other way, ruining what could have been a franchise. It could have been the start of something. A unique to the movies superhero, original stories. And even though, yeah, it kind of plays on tropes a little bit and, can draw from other stories, they could have had a franchise, but they had a bomb. Not good. All right, Carrie, before we go, please remind our listeners what your keep, watch, and past films were with plot twists that you didn't see coming.
I am keeping The Cleaner. I am watching Fight Club and passing on Memento.
All right, I am keeping The Usual Suspects. I am watching the first Saw and not the other 17,000. And I am passing on Hancock. Carrie, thank you so much for this. And to you, our dear listeners, well, you guys know the drill. If there's a topic that you want us to cover on Keep Watch Pass or a movie that you want us to cover on It's Not That Bad, hit us up on social media at Not That Badcast or go to our website at notthatbadcast.com. And while you're there, make sure you check out our Coming Soon page because we're going to be putting some new episodes on there of movies and bands and albums and topics that we are going to cover somewhere down the road. Until next time, she's Carrie, I'm Jay. You guys are awesome. This is Keep Watch Pass on the It's Not That Bad podcast channel, a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network. Take care.